I wanted to put out a new video just kind of summarizing some of the issues that have been going on with this pandemic and the shutdown and those sort of things. So, it's been really difficult for a lot of people because of changes in their income or housing or how they get their support or those sorts of things. So in my practice, I've definitely been seeing people struggling just for a variety of different issues. Everybody's home, more stress because you're having to look after the kids and trying to help them with their school, and just a lot of uncertainty about income, and all that kind of stuff tends to drive issues like relapse and whatnot. So there are, of course, the same programs are out there, and you can still access these generally through the phone or teleconference, those sorts of things. So I know for sure that there are virtual AA meetings and NA meetings. For those of you who are interested in a different option, of course, there's individual counselors. I certainly prefer people see a certified substance abuse counselor who are seeing me for chemical dependency treatment. For example, Hank Granda in Waimea, the other counselors, John Anderson, the other Dr. Long in Kapa'a, Barbara Johnson up at Hole in Kapa'a. I would say those are the main four that I refer people to. They're excellent. They have an interest, either a certification or have done some studies, some training as far as substance abuse counseling. And so they're doing, over the phone counseling, etc. So get a hold of them. They haven't disappeared. They're still offering services. And then, of course, the intensive outpatient programs, which would be McKenna Recovery, who has 3 different classes, morning, night, and then a separate class, which I think they call the catch-up class. And then Ahu Vai Vai, which has groups that meet both in Lihue and in Kalaheo typically, but also are still reaching out and providing services to patients. And then the very good Ialaho program, which for the last 6 months has been offering intensive outpatient support for not only their typical focus group, which is the young women who are either pregnant or with children, but they've also expanded out to just women in general and men in general. And that has been really good. I've had some patients who have been struggling for a long time to kind of try to find the right balance, and have done very well with the work from Anna and from Julie with Ialaho. It's just a great program. We have their numbers. Of course, they're on the internet. Reach out to us. And then a new option that I've probably referred something like 15 or 20 patients to is the Reset-O program. This is a app that you would have on your phone, and you can either read it or you can listen to it. I believe there's 38 sessions that you're supposed to complete over 2 or 3 months. It's expensive, but you don't have to worry about that because if they don't get reimbursed from your insurance company, I have been repeatedly reassured that they are not going to be going after people for payment, that kind of stuff. But it's got some pluses and minuses. They allowed me to do a trial version of it. I did some sessions. I didn't do all 38 sessions. I can't tell you exactly what the content of all of them is, but for those of you who are looking for some guided recovery, which I think everybody should be looking for, but you're just trying to try out some different options other than those that I already mentioned, it's a great opportunity. You can do it whenever you want, so it's super flexible. The program is FDA approved. It's been gone through trials that have shown improvement in those who have participated versus those who have not. And so overall, it's a good option. And but I believe, still need an actual signature to have people get enrolled in the program. So, you have to have people catch up to us with that. So, those are kind of the traditional support. Of course, there are other support systems out there. I know that the Kauai KEO, for example, and the Catholic charities have gotten money. I think that the Facebook guy, Zuckerberg, gave $1 million to one of these programs to help distribute out to the community with different support programs. And so also there are things like free cell phones. If you're tight on cash, you're burning through money with your cell phone, or that you're having a problem contacting a program because you don't have reliable cell service, whatever is kind of a critical thing. The Q-Link program, which is on the internet, I think it's 855 or 8. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, it's Q-Link, L-I-N-K. So when you have a cell phone and you pay your bill, there's all these fees and federal charges and that kind of stuff. Those fees, some of those fees go into providing free cell phones with data and texting and all that to those people who get any type of assistance program. So whether it's food stamps or Medicaid or veterans benefits or HUD, any type of federal or state assistance qualifies you to get a free cell phone. It's easy to do, they'll ship it to you. Q-Link is one program, but there's others. Most of them do not service Hawaii, interestingly enough, so the Q-Link is the one that I know actually works. It used to be Bluebird, but I think they stopped doing it. So anyway, this is the new company that seems to be doing it. So yeah, if you're needing to reduce your costs or what have you, that's another resource, of course. Of course, we're still doing business as usual with visits in the clinic. For those people who are doing pretty well, I have been doing some telemedicine visits to follow up with them so they don't have to come into the clinic. But by and large, I prefer to see people in person. Don't take it too personally if I ask that I see you in person, but getting, for example, an actual examination to see how people look, because it is helpful to see people in real life. Take a look at their skin. Take a look at, for example, urine drug screen, et cetera. Can give you a little bit of a sense of how people are doing. We continue to do pretty well with the sub-blockade medication, that once a month injectable buprenorphine for that small group of people that it seems to make sense. And so, that when people, if you're struggling and you kind of need to lock into a buprenorphine dose that you can't just, not take for a few days and what I call schedule a relapse, the sub-blockade can be really good. It's painful. I mean, that's just all that it is. It is painful when you get it. It lasts a few minutes. But compared with the pain of being arrested or losing everything or whatever, those people who choose to do it seem to have a pretty good result. It does not, it is not recovery in an injection form. You still have to engage in a recovery program, otherwise it's not going to work. And so those people who have not engaged in a good recovery program have not done well, and those people who have, typically do better. So that's kind of the story with that. There were a couple of things that I kind of wanted to just kind of briefly mention. Remember that I cannot force a pharmacy to fill your prescription. And so just yesterday, one of my patients who has consistently been having difficulty pacing his medicine was his buprenorphine, and so was getting early refills just very consistently. Finally, the pharmacy that he was going to said, "We're not filling your prescriptions anymore. You're gonna have to take your business elsewhere." So you kind of, there are other ramifications to overusing your buprenorphine. So if you're finding yourself taking an extra dose of buprenorphine, that is never the right thing to do virtually every time, without a phone call and some discussion with me before that happens. An extra dose of buprenorphine is a lack of engagement in recovery. That's what it is. You're basically saying, I'm just going to take more chemical. That is not the solution to the problem. And this particular individual who hasn't gone to or got kicked out of the pharmacy, just plain old has not, for years, has been extremely reluctant to engage in a program and just struggles. He's just doing it the hard way. And I keep telling him there's an easy way to do it. There's a system by which you can achieve progress in managing your chemical dependency, or you can do it the hard way and just refuse to engage in recovery and struggle, and it's overwhelming and it's depressing and it's frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. So I want people to remember that engaging in, whether it's going to meetings or an individual counselor, the reset program, or whatever it is that you choose to do, is not punishment for having the problem of chemical dependency. It is the cure for chemical dependency. Buprenorphine is not it. And for those of you who have been on buprenorphine and who have been, struggling with, wow, I can't seem to control it, I'm overusing it, it seems like, whatever, it seems like it's because of the lack of engagement in a program that is locking you into the buprenorphine. Those who are engaging in a system where they can find emotional relief in a non-chemical way gradually taper off, and they use a non-chemical coping system to make progress. So that's kind of, I know I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but hopefully you hear me, and it's not because I have anything but the best intentions. I want my patients to do well, and when my patients get arrested and go to jail, or like all hell breaks loose and I never got a phone call from them, that really hurt. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how come people don't ask me for help? And so, which kind of brings me to the close here. If you are struggling and you need help, I want to help you. Just give me a phone call. I may ask you to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. I may ask you to do things that aren't easy, but hopefully you understand that what I'm trying to be is a consultant and give you the correct answers and point you onto the correct path, get you onto the right system where you will find more just satisfaction, less drama, less pain, less emotional strife in your life. I wish that for all of you guys through this pandemic crisis, and I hope that you are all well, and that, I'm going to say it one more time, if you need help, just reach out. I'm here every single day. Thanks so much, and good luck.